Hi and welcome back to PowerModz. I'm Louis Skibo. I've got a really cool item to install on this razor here today. And if you know anything about the razor, you'll know that there's really no attachment point at the back to pull yourself out when you're stuck, or to have somebody pull you out, or to actually even hook a little trailer on, maybe a utility trailer. There's nothing on there to do that with. There are two little tie-down points, but honestly, I don't think they're very good for pulling on. They might shear right through the frame very easily, and we don't want to do that. So when I was surfing through the net, I found this little beauty right here. This is made by ThunderHawk Performance in the United States. The real beauty of this hitch is the way that it actually mounts to your razor. It mounts on top and below, as well as the 4 radius rod bolts. Now most hitches that we see with an attachment point, maybe to pull yourself out, only really mount on these back 4 radius rods. We don't want that. We want something that's more rigid, mounted top to bottom. That's why I contacted them. That's why we got this. This is a real beauty. And it's under $100. It's $99 to buy this. It's got a 2-inch receiver on it. It's heavy duty. Let's get this on. Now this kit comes with the instructions and all the mounting hardware that you're going to need to install this successfully. Now the first thing you do, you make sure that the rear trailing arms are supported with the wheels just off the ground. Then you remove the wheels. I have to remove the nuts on the back of these radius rod bolts, all 4 of them. You can actually access the nut through the back here. Right at the bottom, there's a little spot there. There we go. I'll feel that nut come loose in a second, but you leave those bolts in to start. Don't want to take those out yet. The uppers are actually easier to get at. Leave the bolt in though. Now everything's pretty much loose here, so we just more or less pull out the bolts that hold the radius rods in. Get out of there. You have to be careful when you pull this top one out because it'll have a tendency to want to drop on top of the brake line. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this little bungee here. I'll hook that up. That'll keep it from falling down, hurting that brake line. There are 2 bolts that come down through the top of the frame. They're actually motor mount bolts. So the nuts are accessible on the bottom. So I'm going to pull those out, replace them with these bolts that actually come from ThunderHawk Performance in the little kit you get. I always like when things start to come together. Now we get to mount this up. But you got to make sure that these lower radius rods are actually kind of in place, tucked up underneath here before you install this, because you can't get them in afterwards. Let's go right there. There we go. When you're putting this all together, make sure you don't snug anything up right from the start. You want to keep everything kind of loose until you get it all set up. And you're going to tighten up these radius rod bolts first, then tighten everything else up. And we'll install these upper radius rod bolts. Now they sort of spread out a little bit, but all you do is you just sort of press on the side of the hub. Things will come together for you. I need your help here. There we go. So I'm going to push in on this. I'm going to use my son. He's got arms of steel. He's going to insert this. So push this in here, Kai, as soon as I get it aligned. Hold on. Ready? Right there. Okay, I'm gonna find the spot in the frame. There you go. Hold on. Here you go. And move it around a little.
Did a bit more for
We almost had it there. There you go. Push.
It's okay.
Right there. There you go. Good. Thank you.
Done?
Yep. They grow up fast, right? The kit comes with these 2 drill tip bolts. Now these need to go on the bottom and they go into existing holes that are already drilled in the frame. Now we don't tighten these up either. Make sure they're left loose, like I said. When we're getting closer now, all we need to do, tighten up these radius rod bolts. And I'm just going to snug these up a little at a time. I don't want them going in cockeyed. You know, while I was down here, I noticed that this rear radius rod is actually bent. can see a big mark on it here. I must have come up against a rock pretty hard. So we're going to change that out. I'm going to pull the bolt out most of the way, and I'm going to just push the nut flush with the metal of the frame, and then I'm going to bolt into it. Turn the bolt right into it. Then I'll be able to get my wrench in that little access hole in the bottom. There we go. I can't show you this, can't get the camera in there, but I'm just pushing that nut up against the frame nice and tight, and I feel that. There we go. I just felt the bolt thread right into that nut. I can put this on. Now I can get it nice and tight. Everything else is good. There is a hole cut out in the back here. We still do have access to drain and fill your fluid at the back. There we go. Still get in there, no problem. Pull off these top radius rods, no problem. No real shear points on here. Most hitch plates you see, they only really attach to these 4 bolts. That's no good. You don't want those pulling on your radius rod bolts. Now everything's tethered right up to the frame here and underneath as well. Isn't that sweet? Now I have the luxury of a hoist. By no means do you need to have a hoist to do this. But one thing I do suggest, to get into this nut here, it's a little tight spot. So just use a universal and an extension. Just feed it right up and right onto it. That's it. Just helps you get at it. Kai, do you want to help tighten this? Draw all your weight into it. There you go. That'll do it.
Is that supposed to happen?
Yep, it's all right. Good job. Now I've got to go back and tighten up these bottom ones. There we go. There we go. I only have these 2 holes left to do. I just have to drill them, install these self-tapping bolts, and I'm done. Wear the goggles for that. Make sure it goes on straight, or it'll cross thread. It'll cross thread, it'll get twisted, and then it'll shear the threads off, and you don't want that to happen. You always got to make sure they go on straight. Stop. Now go to the, always go kitty corner, okay? Go. Stop. Here. Okay, watch out. Goggles. Thank you. Well, that's exactly the type of hitch I wanted, mounted top and bottom and on the 4 radius rod bolts. I'm glad I found ThunderHawk Performance. When you do go to buy this, make sure you give ThunderHawk Performance a call. Tell them Louis from PowerModz sent you. Talk to Harry, very nice guy, really easygoing. He also sent some shock mount reinforcements. We're going to install those in another video in a little while. So I got to thank you guys for coming back to PowerModz. Check us out on Facebook and give us a big old thumbs up. Thanks for coming. That is nice. I think we'll go for a ride.